In the dark recesses of secret rooms and hidden chambers far from the public eye lurk mysterious secret societies that claim to possess esoteric knowledge passed down from ancient times. Many claim that this wisdom aids in the evolution of mankind, but not all view these figures as benevolent guardians. One of the most intriguing and mysterious groups is the Rosicrucian Order. While some scholars have suggested that Rosicrucianism is simply a philosophical or theological movement, others have argued that it has a deeper and more far-reaching influence. Critics suggest that this esoteric group is a shadowy organization working behind the scenes, manipulating the masses on a global scale. The historical influence of the Rosicrucian Order is a fascinating, complex, and very disturbing narrative, which we will explore in this video. We head to the beginning of the Renaissance era in Europe to explore whether the Rosicrucian Order was truly a spiritual movement designed to help humanity evolve, or, as others have suggested, was a secret organization that covertly ruled Europe and possessed the secrets of man and God. The story of the origins of Rosicrucianism begins in Europe towards the beginning of the 17th century, between 1614 and 1617, when 3 anonymous manifestos were published in Germany and then spread throughout Europe. The first was titled Fama Fraternitatis, or Glory of the Fraternity, followed by Confessio Fraternitatis, Confession of the Fraternity, and finally the Chimical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreutz. These books are attributed to Lutheran theologian Valentine Andria and focus on the travels of a figure known as Christian Rosenkreutz, who is considered the mythical founder of Rosicrucianism. Although historians have suggested that Rosenkreutz was most likely a fictional character, the 3 manifestos explicitly describe his life and the founding of the order. Glory of the Brotherhood introduces readers to a German physician and mystic philosopher known as Father Sauer, who in the 3rd manifesto is named Christian Rosenkreutz. He is said to have been born in 1378 and lived an impressive 106 years. The story goes that Rosenkreutz spent his early life in a monastery before setting off on a journey across the Middle East when he was just 16 years old. During his travels, he acquired esoteric knowledge from various masters in faraway countries. The first manifesto says there he learned all the wisdom of Arabia, from Kabbalah to medicine, mathematics, mechanics, philosophy of the macro and microcosm, and knowledge of the elemental spirits. Upon his return to Europe, Rosenkreutz sought to spread the knowledge he had acquired among the greatest scientists and philosophers of the age. However, he failed to achieve success. Presumably to ensure that the wisdom he had accumulated would not go to waste, he gathered a small number of close friends and disciples, and together with them, founded the Rosicrucian Order, also known as the Brotherhood of the Rose and the Cross. Although no exact date is given for the founding of the order, some historians suggest that it must have occurred sometime in the early 15th century. Legends claimed that during Rosenkreutz's lifetime, the order was limited to only 8 members. Those who pledged their allegiance to the group had to meet several requirements, the most important of which was to be physicians. Once accepted, they took an oath to help and heal the sick without taking payment, to maintain the secret fellowship, and to find a replacement for themselves before they died. It is believed that the original group continued to work and share the wisdom in a secret environment, even after Rosenkreutz's death. Eventually, they recorded this knowledge so that it would be available to the wider world. When the manifestos first appeared in Europe in the 17th century, alchemists and esotericists were immediately attracted to the writings, which promised a universal reformation of mankind. A similar ideology underlay the esotericists and alchemists who readily sought to use wisdom to reach a higher state of consciousness. As the early Rosicrucians stated, they would enter a golden age by using science built upon the esoteric truths of the ancient past, which, hidden from the common man, give insight into nature, the physical universe, and the spiritual realm. Those who read these texts in the 17th century were informed that the world was now ready for the secrets that had been hidden for decades. The Manifestos proclaim that the intellectual climate is ready to receive wisdom. They do so in arcane terms, clearly influenced by the teachings of older spiritual and esoteric practices such as Kabbalah, Hermeticism, alchemy, and Christian mysticism. The ancient teachings were complex and, at times, almost incomprehensible to the ordinary reader. Nevertheless, they set out several key aspects of their philosophy, which can be divided into the following points: the understanding that man is a microcosm of the cosmos, which in turn represents the macrocosm or the totality of the ordered universe. Promoting unity and brotherhood among all human beings without distinction of race, creed, or social class, especially among the community of scientists. The improvement of mathematics and mechanics. Striving to reform the world and advance learning in all walks of life, education, science, politics, religion, art, etc. The free practice of medicine and, within this, the search for a universal remedy to cure all the ills of the world. By the way, we have told you about the discoverer of this and how he was destroyed by the system, along with his discovery. You can recall this in our video Forbidden Technologies and the Silencing of Their Inventors, Part 2. Practicing spiritual alchemy, rejecting the idea of using this art to produce gold and get rich. The ascent to wisdom through the three stages: philosophy, Kabbalah, and magic. Reformation of Christianity based on these principles. Many have taken the Rosicrucians as a group that was heavily invested in the betterment of society. In his article on the Rosicrucians in the Royal Masonic Encyclopedia, Kenneth Mackenzie defines it as a mysterious fraternity of isolated learned individuals, conscious of each other's existence, and corresponding through secret and mysterious letters. They lived in seclusion and obscurity and spent much of their time in divine contemplation, through which they discovered important physical secrets. Yet, in times of peril, in ages of great physical suffering, they emerged from their retreats with the beneficent purpose of conquering and alleviating the calamities of mankind. Another author, who is considered a specialist in 19th century Freemasonry and occultism, also speaks of the Rosicrucians with high regard, claiming that they were members of an esoteric body that existed throughout the ages and whose true name has never been revealed. It has always labored for the preservation and advancement of knowledge and the preservation of human life through the practice of the healing art. The author goes on to suggest that the Rosicrucians reflect a role similar to that of the Bodhisattva of Buddhism, arguing that members of the secret order come into the world either in person or through intermediaries in times of great need to try to bring about significant change. Even if they fail, it is not because of their own weakness, but because of the ignorance. They will never give up because they are motivated by the purest love and compassion, which embodies the true spirit of Rosicrucianism, and its search for a universal remedy. Despite their identification with a society dedicated to the development of human consciousness, some researchers have suggested that a malevolent force lies at the heart of the Rosicrucians. As with all secret societies and groups that spend a significant amount of their time away from the public eye, there are rumors that the Rosicrucians operate as a shadow government, pulling the strings of European politicians. When we look at the history of the group's successors, it may give us a clue as to why some believe that the Rosicrucians are malicious. Several organizations have grown out of the teachings of the Rosicrucian Order, some even claiming to be direct descendants of the original group. The most notable of these are the Order of the Golden and Rose Cross, which existed between 1750 and 1790, the Rosicrucian Society in England, Soas Rosicruciana in Anglia, which has existed since 1865, and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which existed from 1887 to 1903. One of the prevailing theories suggests that modern groups operating under the banner of Rosicrucianism do so to hide their true goal, complete control of Europe through the manipulation of the masses. Working in secret, the Rosicrucian Order infiltrates its agents into governments and corporations to gain political power, with some even claiming that they make all the decisions for the European Union. They are also said to be behind major European events and crises and to ensure that they keep the continent divided. They influence the media, the press, civil society, and democracy. Claims similar to this can also be found in forums such as Above Top Secret or Godlike Productions, where anonymous users share inside information or leaked documents in which Rosicrucians are presented as responsible for many significant events. Other sites, such as the Conspiracy Archive and the Bibliotheca Pleads, publish material linking the Rosicrucians to attempts at political and economic domination. David Icke's book The Biggest Secret, 1999, is also a source of such claims. He is a popular British writer and public figure who often shares his theories about the hidden elites who pull the strings of world politics. In his research, he connects the Rosicrucians to global power behind the scenes. Back in the 1990s, a document was circulated in certain conspiracy forums claiming that secret societies, descendants of the Rosicrucian Order, are infiltrating key positions of the European Commission and the European Parliament. Some anonymous witnesses quoted in their claims that high-ranking officials posing as technocrats or experts are, in fact, following a secret dictate coming from the Brotherhood. Specific names of politicians are also mentioned in this context, arguing that their apparent commitment to European integration is a facade for deeper ideological purposes. We will not mention specific names intentionally, as even what has been said so far puts this video at sufficient risk of being taken down or its distribution restricted. The aim of these figures is not simply to facilitate integration, but to place the whole of Europe under the invisible rule of a small elite. Imagine the current political scene as a huge chessboard on which the pieces are moving in favor of a secret brotherhood. The media in Europe are indirectly controlled through a network of journalists and analysts influenced or directly directed by people linked to such orders. It is speculated that suggestions of divisions and crises, economic, migratory, or political, are deliberately stoked to keep Europe in a perpetual state of dependency and insecurity. At the same time, other researchers, in quotation marks, operating under pseudonyms, cite allegedly leaked documents that mention a secret commission subordinate to the Rosicrucians. According to these anonymous sources disseminating information in the deep layers of the internet, or the so-called deep web, every significant event, from banking crises to sudden political coups, is preceded by closed meetings of influential personalities who actually carry out the instructions of the hidden Rosicrucian Council. In this way, conspiracy literature and unofficial documents offer an alternative version of European history. Instead of a spontaneous development of integration and democracy, there is an order behind the scenes, which, using the symbols and prestige of the Rosicrucians, covertly controls the processes. Although, in many cases, this sounds quite similar to the claims associated with the Illuminati, some are convinced that they are one and the same thing, and that they are part of the New World Order that aims to control the entire planet. Ultimately, with so much information and misinformation, it is hard to say for sure if this is anything more than a conspiracy theory. What do you think? Share your opinion in the comments. And if you want to continue with the Secret Societies theme, watch our Dark Puppeteers of Our Destiny video. Click on it to the left of your screen, and we'll be back together in a moment.